2nd of July and we're here at Drummatymore House. You can see big holes in the roof up there, and then we'll just go around the front and you'll see similar things there. Been cutting and strimming along here, so the hedge needs cutting now in August. So just look down along the avenue, which has been, the grass has been cut but the hedge needs it. And then you can see the house. Okay, actually the roof doesn't look too bad from here, but when you're over this side you can see, well, first of all, that middle window over the front door is going to fall down, and then up on top, oops, the other way, yeah, there's a few holes in the roof there. But anyway, let's not think about that. We'll go up and see the orchard. So this week has been brilliant weather-wise, and I'm sure that's good for the apple trees. Earlier this year, so like in around Christmas, I pruned all of them, and then during that process I noticed that quite a few of them, I'd say about 10%, had been, the bark had been badly damaged by rabbit activity. So the rabbits are eating the bark. This is even though we have these protective plastic strips on them. So just undo the electric fence. So the cattle are in the field next door. We had the grass cut a couple of weeks ago, literally 2 weeks, so there's a nice layer of mulch on top of everything. But as I was saying, quite a few of the apple trees had rabbit damage, and then there was quite a bit of canker, which is a bacterial infection that apple trees get. So at the beginning of the summer, I just went around the whole orchard and basically cut out any canker that I could find. So we'll start down here in this corner. This is a very upright tree called a Stokes Red. And then the one above it is, like these ones down here at the bottom of the hill are more advanced than all the others, but they were 2-year-old trees when they went in. But you can see like the thickness of the bark here. You know, it's quite substantial. These were just like sticks when they went in. So the 2-year-old trees are these ones down here in this corner, or they were 2-year-old rather when they went in. So what, they're 4-year-old trees now, and I just got nettled. These ones here are Bramleys. So this one and the kind of first four in this row, so they'd be the traditional cookers, and like they're very substantial. So in this bottom corner here we've got what are called sours. So they're the apples have more acid than sugar. And then, so let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the rest of these 3 rows are sweets. So they're eating apples. And some of them are doing quite well. I can see a bit of damage there. Let's see what's causing that. You know, it could have been the tractor when the guy cut the grass, that he might have clipped some of them. This one here has been, we've cut it right down. Am I at the right one? Yeah. Cut it right back to you can see we cut it way down here. This is because it had canker in the first year in the top, so we just basically just cut that out wherever you see it. These broken bits are, you know, broken branches are not ideal because that's the kind of environment in which the canker gets into the tree. But you know, the weather has been so good, I think we're okay. Like it's one of those things that, like blight, it breeds in kind of damp, cold weather. So then these two rows here, they're a kind of a tree called Dabinet, all the way up to the top. And they're the better of the two varieties that we have as the dominant varieties. That's what's called a vintage variety, where you can make a cider just from that variety on its own. It would be a good one. The row here on the left is on the line of an old ditch, so they're actually kind of struggling because they're in very stony soil, whereas this row here is doing a bit better of the Dabinets. And then these two rows are what are called Michelin, like the tires. So those two there, and you can see they have a different aspect to the trees. They're more columnar than the Dabinets, which are kind of spready out. But yeah, let's just walk up, say, between the rows, just to give you a sense of how tall the trees are. So you can see the thickness of the trunk isn't like what we saw down below, because these trees are a year younger and they're a different variety. The thick trunked one below that I showed you, that's what's called a triploid, which means it has three, I don't know how the biology of this, it has 3 sets of chromosomes, as opposed to the norm in mammals anyway is 2. So it makes them more vigorous. So those bigger, thicker trunks are related to that. I've got more cattle up at the top of the field here. It's a beautiful day, roasting. So that's the view down along to the lovely ash tree. So you can see this is a Dabinet tree here with that kind of not so vigorous look, whereas this one is Michelin, and you know, it looks a lot more vigorous. The other thing, of course, that I did was to remove all of the blossoms, or as many of them as I could find. In fact, I think I did a fairly comprehensive job, because I don't see any apples anywhere. And this is to give the trees really the opportunity to you know, to just put in the kind of root system, especially because the first year they were planted, 2018, we had that drought in kind of June, July, whereas this year it looks like we're just going to have a week of really hot weather and then the rain will start again. So that's perfect, really. And the ground here has, you know, because we cut the grass was really quite long when it was cut, so there's a good thick covering of mulch on it, which should hold in the moisture that was already there. So we're back down to the more vigorous looking trees here. But you know, these I'm very happy with how these are doing. Like these ones along here are a variety called Katie, and the first year I damaged this particular tree with the strimmer, but you can see that it's kind of recovering well. It's slightly smaller than the other ones around it, but it's actually recovering quite well. And we have the lovely countryside and the lovely Drummoyne house. Okay, so that's the orchard in July.